Hello. I thought I would do a video about inner worlds for people who have dissociative identity disorder. And I actually drew mine. I don't know. I like art. It took me a long time. It's not the best artwork. It's kind of like an illustration, but I thought I'd share it because in my inner world I have lots of different zones for different things that I've set up. And this really helps me manage my system and the different parts of my system. So I thought that I would share it as we were in the work group yesterday and we were talking about safe places and places, what to do with angry parts and things like that. So I thought I would explain a little bit. So how my inner world is set up is if you can see this house here, I actually used to see this in my nightmares and I don't know why it's part of my inner world, it was just there. So what I've been working on with my parts is taking back areas of this building. So at the top, I'm not sure if you can see on the camera, I don't have my normal film set up so it's really hard to show you, but in this top section here there's like a safe space and there's a chill out zone in the back, and the reason why I keep them separate is because when one of my parts is feeling angry, I want them to have a place to go where they can like rant and rave and scream and shout or do whatever they need to do, punch pillows, whatever, that doesn't affect those who want to feel safe and are already calm. So I have those two separate zones for them in there. What else? The other thing I should probably say is that this space here, there's like a forest. And when I was discovering my parts, I found that a lot of them would hide in these trees. And they would watch what was going on before they would come out and show themselves. So here, this is where we have our inner meetings, and in the inner meetings we pull out some logs and we all sit around, kind of like a campfire thing but without the fire. And we give each other a chance to talk about how we're feeling, what we're struggling with, and then we try to help each other. And sometimes we go to this place during therapy as well, and they kind of sit around and help me answer questions for my therapist and stuff. So that's really helpful. For us, this is our spiritual place where we go. It might not apply to all of you, but I have a deep-rooted sense of faith. In fact, that's probably the only thing about my identity that's been consistent throughout my life. So that is a special place for us where we go. Let me see if I can, my desk is quite small now, so I've got to try and move this around so you can see it. Right here, this is a place of remembrance for the people that we've lost in our lives that are important to us, and there's a personal significance to the poppies that I won't share because if anybody in my family's watching, they'll work out who I am, and I don't want to. Here is my tree. I call this the tree of core beliefs, and it felt very much that all of the experiences in my life had taken root inside of me and grown into this tree, and I've been in therapy for quite a while now trying to deal with the things that happened to me and kind of like change some of the root system of this tree. Then you'll see next to it there's a vault. Now this vault has two functions actually. So there's a part of it which is where we keep our memories of abuse and stuff. So everybody's core memories, any information that we have, we call it the library. So any information we know about each other, we keep it all in there so it's locked away safe. So only we know how to go in there. And there's also another space in under the ground where we call lockdown. And lockdown is a concept that I learnt from the book Got Parts. And it's basically a place to put parts who are refusing to cooperate and are being either dangerous to themselves or to another part. So that's where I put them. And to go into lockdown, we've got different rules, but basically the majority of us have to agree that they have to go into lockdown. My world is actually bigger than this. I have quite a few inner worlds. I don't know if that's because I'm I don't know how to word it. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's because I was subjected to mind control programming and they segregated parts of my mind off as part of that. I'm guessing it probably is, because the other places that I found different parts outside of this part of my inner world have been segregated and have been heavily programmed. So I'm guessing that that's it, but I don't actually know. And anyone with DID will know that your understanding of your system evolves as you learn about them and find them. And so yeah, I'm a work in progress, just like everybody. This strange little sketch is a memory that I have of me when I was a small child, and my dad used to have a boat and we used to go out on the boat, and it's one of my favourite memories of my dad for one of my parts. So that's her place to go and remember my dad. There are some more significant things about this, but I don't think they're helpful in terms of understanding different zones. I think I've explained them all. I can't think of anything else for this part of my inner world. I do have some other parts of my inner world that I have actually drawn. I wonder if I have them out actually. I'm pretty sure one of them was in this book, if I can find it. This one. It's quite a long, it's a double page landscape. Yeah, I seem to have this place inside of me that reminded me of like space. I think my part called it an astral plane, but I don't really believe in those things, but I think she was taught to believe in them. I'm not sure. I just have a feeling that she was taught to dissociate to a place that was a different, and they kind of gave her some reason why it had to be there and she couldn't be with the rest of us. So I'm working on undoing that, and she actually is in the inner world now, but I'm just showing you this as a what's the word? An example of one of these places where my parts have been programmed to be away from the rest of the system, I guess. So yeah, for a long time she was floating around in space by herself, and that was quite difficult to deal with. I have another space like this that I found recently, but there's no light, it's literally just black, and there's two parts there. So I don't really understand what that's about, but I'm working on that. That's my new thing. So yeah, I just thought I'd share. I don't know if this is normal for people with DID. I don't really care because my normal might be someone else's not normal, and someone else's normal might be my not normal. I don't think there's such thing as normal, really. It's what is true for you, and trust in your own, not story, but your own memories and your own system, I guess. Anyway, I think I'm jabbering now, so I think I'll close that off there. Oh, one last thing. There was a reason why I got this out. So for parts who are floating around in spaces that are not my normal place, can't put them in lockdown because they don't seem to be physically connected. So I create a different type of lockdown where I put them mentally inside a bubble. That way they're contained and they can't hurt anyone else. I don't know if you've seen Steven Universe, where he gets sent up into space with the rubies, and he puts himself and the ruby in a bubble. And that's how my little ones think about it. They love Steven Universe and Adventure Time. They just love cartoons. But anyway, I digress. So I put them in a bubble, and that keeps them safe and stops them from hurting other people. Yeah. So if you've got any questions, come find me on 7 Cups of Tea. Life is my canvas is my username, and yeah, come find me. Thanks. Bye.